Oh my God, there he is. It's
What?
Jason Schappert.
I
Uh-oh. Your audio's a little
wonky?
little wonky. We can't say something.
Hi, do I sound like a robot?
No, you sound good. There you go. I think
I sound good?
the applause were just deafening. That's what it is.
That's got to be what it is.
Yeah.
I thought I had an issue anyways. I thought my camera was in mirror mode. Then I realized, no, it was just Ken. I mean, it's such a similarity, Ken.
That's it.
That's
it. Yeah. Well, we are long lost twins.
It happens.
Yeah.
You're like the father I never had, Ken.
Right. We were actually conjoined twins, attached at the face, and so they gave him the actual face he was born with, and I had to graft skin from my ass to make this.
It's a good look for you.
It is a good look. I've been working it. Welcome to the show, man. It's been a while since you've been on.
Yeah, excited to be back on. Excited to see Super Baby again, and I'm glad they're allowing you around children again too. So that's always exciting.
Great.
I'm really happy for you.
My parole officer is very proud. Are we getting an echo or anything? I just want to make sure because that's the most annoying thing ever. Does the audio sound okay, you guys? We good?
Let me look at the chat.
There's not. If you have any questions for the Shapmaster,
this is the time.
All I see in the chat are Jason emojis everywhere.
I see that too.
Yeah.
Hey, Kelly, I actually have a question for Kelly if we can start off with that. I noticed, Ken, I was on Beauchart's wall. You were on Beauchart's wall.
Yep.
Your ex is on Beauchart's wall. I didn't see Kelly anywhere.
I don't know what is going on with that.
What you got to keep in mind, it's a wall of shame, not a wall of fame.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay. So, no, congratulations for making the wall. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about that.
So, man, a lot has happened since the last we've talked.
Sure.
And I guess we're a couple months closer to all the wonderful promises that the FAA said they're going to give us. What?
All the promises are coming. There's some strings attached to those promises and everything else too. I know a lot of people, and Ken, you and I were speaking earlier today. I know a lot of people are excited about flights over people and everything else.
Yeah.
Like that's all coming, but there's a lot of legality and everything else. And do you remember all those crazy categories and everything else that really go along with that? It's not going to be as simple as everybody thinks. I mean, it's a gift, there's no doubt, but there's some interesting strings that come attached to all this as well.
It's not going to be a gift like taking the retest for free and then suddenly everybody can fly at night. That pissed me off so much. You know how many hoops I had to...
And you studied.
I
studied so hard.
So much. And I had to like write a novel to the FAA.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So then they're like, nah, you fly at night. Go ahead. I was like, what? Wait, what? I got my certificate laminated.
Fly at night, we can let the population fly at night. That's what they say.
That's what it is. So what kind of strings can we expect? What's new? Give us a scoop.
I was pulling some of this up. So we have to always be very careful with the language. So let's look at like flights over people.
Yeah.
It says the final rule allows routine operations over people. And it also says routine operations at night. Yet the word routine is never defined. So we need some clarification, and we've sent out letters and everything else asking for that clarification. What's a routine operation? Because routine for Ken Heron flying Super Baby, that may be routine for him.
Right.
But that's not routine, the type of flying I do. I typically don't dismantle dolls.
Flying drugs and cell phones into the prison is pretty routine for old Larry, you know.
Exactly.
You know, but
exactly.
But yeah, you know, it is very wishy-washy because
Sure.
just like can you fly from a vehicle? Sure, in lightly populated areas. Okay, well,
sparsely. You got to get the verbiage right. Sparsely populated areas. And now Ken, go define a sparsely populated area. I mean, I know you're in the
I can do it.
Tennessee.
I know I can do it. Sparsely populated. I'll give you a visual aid. Kelly, just take off your hat. There you go. There's a sparsely populated area. Sorry, my friend.
Wow.
I love you, Kelly. I love you, man. No, I don't know what it is, but I would guess it's a place with few to little people, but it depends. If you're in the city, a sparsely populated area will be different than if you're in a rural community. So yeah, give us a number, FAA.
Yeah, we need a number. We need all those sort of things, but they leave these big, vague definitions because they're lawyers that really write this, right? So they're going to say, Ken, that was out of routine. That wasn't a routine night operation. As you were diving City Hall at night or whatever it is, they're gonna flag you for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's written for their benefit, by the way, not for our benefit. People have to remember that because they write vague things like, in furtherance of a business. That was brilliant, whoever came up with that, because that covers everything. For a long time after that, I would get emails. What if it's my cousin's drone and I'm just doing it for my church, but I'm not charging them,
Well, so here's another aspect of that. And just to explain what Ken is saying, many, many episodes ago, we shared about how the verbiage for who needs a Part 107 certificate. It's anybody who wants to operate in the furtherance of a business. Now, that may not mean I'm paying Ken Heron. It may mean Ken wants me to come fly over the radio station, so the radio station can post it on their Facebook. They're not paying me. I'm just their buddy, right? But we are furthering the radio station's business because they're posting this to their Facebook. That's furthering the business. So take it a step further, Ken. What about somebody who has a YouTube channel, is monetized, and of course now YouTube's forcing everybody to monetize, right? Now you're monetizing your channel, you're reaping a benefit from that, and you're flying a drone, or it is a drone channel, something like that. You have to be so careful with that. And a lot of people said, I'm a photographer. That's not, well, you're using a drone in your method of photography. You're getting compensated. Are you being compensated for your YouTube video or compensated for your drone cinematography? They haven't made an example yet of somebody, but I'm telling you they're going to. They've done it in manned aviation already. It's only a matter of time until they do the same thing in unmanned aviation. So not to freak everybody out, but if you are a drone YouTuber, have your 107. It is just, it's cheap insurance more than anything.
And that is the reason why I got my 107 back in 2016, because in March of that year, now the 107 stuff happened in August.
August 2016, yep.
Yep, and I got a visit from an FSDO guy in March, and we had lunch, and I said, well, what about a monetized YouTube channel? And they said, is that a furtherance of a business? I said, well, yeah. I mean, you can justify it any way you want in your mind.
Sure.
But just remember that the language is not on your side in that regard. It's to protect the FAA in the interest of others.
Yes.
And
yes.
But another thing that I'd like to clarify is, and I get messages from people all the time, especially with the Mini 2 and the lighter quads, the 250 grams.
Now Autel's coming out with one I just saw from Geekspana. So this will continue to be a hot topic.
Right. And DJI and other companies benefit from the ignorance of the rules, because people will buy those drones thinking that they're outlaw drones, that I don't have to register them. Now, when you say you don't have to register a drone below 250 grams, that's still a drone, so you still have to follow the rules. That doesn't mean it's free range.
Yeah, so to clarify what you're saying, first and foremost, the rules say, yes, under 250 grams, they do not need to be registered. However, everyone forgets that's a takeoff weight. So yes, it came to you from DJI at 249 grams. And then you win a set of eyeball stickers from Ken Heron and you want to throw them on. And guess what? You're at 251 grams right now.
Man, I need to sell lighter eyeballs.
You need to sell lighter eyeballs is what it really is.
Yeah.
So it's takeoff weight. So any attachments, any payload, I'm telling you, a decal like that probably will put you over that limit. So you need to be mindful and careful of that. Now, just because you don't register doesn't mean rules don't apply to you. It doesn't mean you can go blazing through, Nashville's airspace or anything like that. The rules still very much apply to you. And then in fact, this is another misconception. If you wish to operate Part 107 in furtherance of a business, you have to register that drone. So even though the Air Mini is 250, or the Mini, I'm sorry, is 249 grams. If I'm using that in a Part 107 capacity, it still has to be registered, even though it's under the 250 by definition. So you need to be very, very careful with that. It is not an outlaw drone, Ken. I love how you use that phrase, though, because people really think that. I mean, I know you've got the banjo music underneath your pointer finger right now. You're going to cue it any second. I've known you for too long. That's the problem.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, now let's talk about hobbyists, people that have no intention of selling their footage or making money from it. It still would benefit you to get the education if you have the time, because just knowing the stuff for the 107 from your course has been invaluable. It makes me feel empowered, because then it's tempting to tell these, local yokel officers and park rangers the what for, because you know a little bit more about it than they do.
Than they do. Isn't that the crazy part? So often you see that, and I feel like at least once a month it's some sort of news story where there's a confusion between law enforcement and drones and everything else and how we can operate. So really, we need to be mentors and educators and everything else out there, helping to really further our hobby. But yes, the hobbyists could really benefit from getting out there, earning their 107, especially now. And we should probably talk about the new recurrent, by the way, too, because that's been causing some confusion. But now with the new recurrent test, it's all online. So realistically, it's the $150 test fee. If you choose to use a course like ours as well, there's a course fee in there. So for, around $300, $250, you can have your 107 and you can have it for life, as long as you keep going through the FAA's recurrency every 24 calendar months.
And then you'll know more than the authorities. And the best way to educate the authorities is just to start out with, all right, look here, Skippy. Like something like that. They love that. Hey, you want to know? I'll educate you if you want me to there, boss. They love that stuff.
They love the passive-aggressive Ken Heron, no doubt.
Yeah. But seriously, and let me know, Kelly, if we get any questions in the chat for Jason. Hobbyists ask me often, and I don't think if it has changed, because if you're Part 107, you have to register each one of your drones. But if
each and every one of them, and please don't forget to deregister it when you sell it. Yes. If not, you're gonna sell it to Ken Heron. It's gonna be registered. Jason's drone registered to Ken Heron. You all know how Ken flies. I don't know if you want Ken flying with a drone registered in your name, right, Kelly Green?
You don't. But if you're a hobbyist, you only have to register the one number. Is that right? And you put it on.
It changed right now.
It changed.
We need to register each and every.
So even the hobbyists, because it used to be that you just get one number.
Could do just one, yeah. Okay. No, we need to register each and every one over 250 grams. And again, I would encourage all the hobbyists out there. Not only is it educational to earn your Part 107, and it makes you a safer real-world operator, and that's really what we're after with everything. It's only a matter of time, hobbyists, until someone says, hey, can you come, fly over my car lot for a Facebook ad? Can you help me with this real estate shoot? Whatever it is, like, you're going to stumble into these things, whether you're looking for them or not, because it's still something so unique. You want to be prepared to seize that moment when that moment comes up.
Right. Now, something else that's coming up with Autel, Autel's been known as the outlaw drone because they're kind of immune to geofencing, but they're going to be doing some updates now where Autel will be have the same kind of built-in restrictions as DJI and other drones. So
and even with that though, Ken, and I know you've seen the pictures, you probably shared them on the news, where people put the tin foil all over their drone and everything else, and they're trying to block the GPS. People, no matter what.
Yeah,
there's always be those people.
That's true, but you know what? It does. Most people want to follow the rules, I think.
Sure.
And why not? Look, not having to register your drone is going to save you $5. That's it. You still have to follow the rules. So if it's worth $5 to not register, I mean, heck, it looks pretty cool with a number on, like a tail number on your drone.
Official.
It's so official. Yes, Kelly.
You could do like the ham radio operators and get the license plate, Ken.
There you go. Yeah, Kelly, you had a question or something?
Yeah, you want some questions from the chat?
Please.
A few of them are lining up. This is from Shannon in the chat. We fly at our house in an unrestricted airspace, and small planes fly under 400 feet above our property. Is the pilot allowed to fly that low, and do we need to land every time he passes over?
Great question, Shannon. So I would ask, do you know the airport identifier? And if you could watch for that to come back in the chat. I would imagine if Shannon is correct and it's truly unrestricted, or what we actually call uncontrolled airspace, I've done stuff, and you all have seen my videos, and you've seen Ken Heron's videos, where we're chasing airplanes down the runway, and that's totally legal because it's at what's called an uncontrolled airport, which is Class G, Class Gulf airspace, and we have the right to be there. It is truly unrestricted airspace. So to answer the second part of Shannon's question, do you need to land every time you see them? If it's a hazard, remember, they have the right of way. So you have to give way to them each and every time. No excuses with that. So it would probably benefit you, Shannon, if you could purchase something like a handheld radio, a VHF handheld radio, and listen to whatever that frequency is at that airport. And when they're landing runway 5 or runway 36, whichever runway's final approach path goes right over your backyard, when operations are heading that way for takeoff or landing, I would just be listening. So you know what's happening, you know somebody's coming, and now you are going above and beyond and being that diligent, good pilot who's always learning, because we're sharing this airspace. That's what's most important here.
Right,
Gotcha.
And even if it's unrestricted airspace Class G, don't just go flying into an airport. You know,
no, especially not without a handheld radio. And you know what? Even when we do that, I think you did this as well, Ken. Anytime I do a shoot at the airport, I let the airport manager know. I let the staff there know. As a manned pilot, you know, we know how the traffic pattern's working. We know most of the pilots that are out there anyway, so we're watching all that stuff, realizing that manned pilots do in fact have the right of way.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, that'd be like driving your RC car on the interstate. Don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, yeah, odds are you're not going to kill anybody on the interstate, but with your RC car, unless it's big enough, unless it causes a distraction. But yes, Kelly. Yeah, another.
You want another one?
Yeah.
Sure, please.
TMC3D in the chat says, Jason, does the fixed wing model endorsement for Part 107 stand a good chance of being ratified?
Does the fixed wing, so we're talking from a model, like a 333 from a model standpoint is what they mean?
Does the fixed wing model endorsement for Part 107 stand a good chance of being ratified?
Could you ask TMC to clarify that a little more? Do they mean like the original 333?
Oh, you mean an exemption for RC? Is that what you're talking about?
Or or do they mean an exemption for, exactly, just the standard AMA RC guys and gals?
Okay. Yeah, because we'll come back to that and see if
you just clarify that for me.
I think, you know, the fixed wing guys who typically fly at an AMA field, they're all about remote ID because that's gonna,
no doubt, no doubt. I think it opens up space for them and everything else. Is there going to be an exemption? No, I think those people have a benefit with remote ID. Honestly, it opens up more opportunities for them. You're not limited to just some AMA field somewhere.
So so since the last time we talked, Jason, how have things progressed? Because with and when will be the date of remote ID, and when will we have to put the extra little gizmos on our stuff?
It's all at a snail's pace right now, my friend. I mean, they're still talking 2023 for all of this. And I said this last time I was on your show, and I want to say it again because I haven't seen anybody announce such a thing just yet. We know remote ID is coming. We know manufacturers are working very, very diligently for new aircraft that'll be issued in 2023 that'll come equipped with remote ID. I would imagine some 2022 models are going to come out with remote ID. Remember when DJI made the Mavic 2 Enterprise? They came out with ADS-B and that was, I thought actually that was going to be remote ID when I first saw that. I said, that's a good idea. It never really took off with that. They were an early adopter of it, and it kind of flopped a little bit. But they'll be coming out in 2022. We will see drones off the shelf, already equipped with remote ID. Where the money to be made is, I love my Inspire 2. There's nothing that can compare price-wise, everything else with my Inspire 2. But it's going to need remote ID in 2-3 years. And I see myself still flying it in 2-3 years. Who is going to make aftermarket remote ID gizmos, as you call them, that I attach to the drone, everything else, for our electronics engineers and everything else that they're watching? Like if you're looking to have a fun little side gig or hobby, that's what I'd be working on. Those are some patents I would be working on and everything else. If you're savvy enough to do such, that's the next big business with this.
Now, will ADS-B go away with remote ID?
I think ADS-B in unmanned will go away. ADS-B is full force in manned aviation. Yeah. In fact, even the fuel trucks at our airports have ADS-B, so the ground operations can see where everybody is. I believe it's the FAA's understanding that we would just be too busy with 600, almost 700,000 drones out there, right, or at least registered out there right now. If they all had to have ADS-B on top of all the aircraft that are out there, you wouldn't be able to see anything on your tablet or whatever you're going to see ADS-B on. It would just be too crazy. I think that's why we went to remote ID as a totally separate and independent system that's not utilizing ADS-B right now.
Now, I've got ADHD. Is that going away?
that could go away. That could go away.
And I got a little bit of OCD happening.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, now I have to talk a little bit about one of my favorite people, XJet.
Yes.
Bruce. I love him. But he did a video where he says that the FAA either has already or plans to destroy FPV. Your take on that, without disparaging anyone, of course, because everybody loves XJet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No,
he rants about stuff. He's a ranter.
Sure. You've never ranted about anything.
No.
Yeah.
I'm so evenly tempered.
Exactly. I don't believe. Originally was remote ID going to possibly hurt the FPV community? I think it kind of looked that way. I don't believe so as much now. There's still some concerns. One of my biggest concerns is the weight aspect of things. FPV is all about aerodynamics and weight. So if I'm adding external devices, most of these things are home built anyways that I'm doing. So there's another device that needs to be added to the equation of my aerodynamics and my weight. I don't think it's going to kill the FPV community, assuming everyone's willing to play and follow the rules here. And it's only going to take a few bad apples to kind of ruin it for everybody else.
Right.
But no, I don't think the FAA woke up and said, "Oh, that FPV community, I can't wait to squash that." But that's not the case.
But I do know firsthand that the FAA doesn't really understand what FPV is. They lump everybody together.
I don't think they understand FPV. I don't think they understand tethered drones. I don't think they understand cinematic drones. They don't understand any of that sort of stuff just yet. I mean, Ken, you took, and let's come back to this too. Don't let me forget. You've taken the new recurrent test. I went through it just for fun. Ken, the first image that popped up was some kid with his shirt tucked in, jean shorts, flying a Phantom 1. I'm thinking, this image is awfully old.
Yeah.
I think they were your jean shorts. Which,
yeah.
Yeah. With cargo pockets.
I think you can take the recurrent test on MySpace too.
Exactly. I'm just looking at how old this course is, and it just reminded me they don't get it. Like, they think this is drone flying right here, this Phantom 1 they got from iStockphoto.com.
Yeah, it's not a priority for them because I keep saying it, the Jeff Bezos of the world, and now that Amazon said, we're not going to send the tube socks, we'll work on other stuff. These programs that are really just large companies showing off. Yeah, we got a drone program too. Pew 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 pew. We're cool. Look at us. Boo boo. But they're not doing it. They're all dropping off because it's too expensive.
No. It's just to be innovative. It's just, and some of it's a tax write-off and everything else, perhaps when you're that big. But
right.
Something else to keep in mind though too. When all of this. Think of the timeline of when this notice of proposed rulemaking was coming out.
Yeah.
The FAA was in the middle of the Boeing 737 MAX debacle, which is still kind of lingering on today. So they were so sidetracked with that. I've never met the drone department of the FAA, but I bet it's like 3 or 4 really hardworking guys and gals, while everyone else was devoted to the 737 MAX issue and everything else. So drones are and can be a bit of an afterthought, unfortunately, with that. And I think it shows in the new recurrent course, just with it was old the day it came out, which is ironic to me.
Yeah. By the way, before it gets too far away, Raven187 says FPV is completely illegal in Australia already. Is that true? Wow. Do we have other Australian people? Now, XJet is from New Zealand, not to lump those two together by any means. I know there's a difference between the Kiwis and the Aussies. Please. But now Bruce showed this in his video. This is a chart that he says is from the FAA, and this is what he cites as one of the reasons why he thinks the FAA is trying to kill FPV. I don't know if you can see that if you're not watching on the big screen, but I don't know. I mean, it's still like everything with the FAA. It's left up to interpretation, but
Do we know this is an official FAA image? I mean, this is one of my first times seeing this and everything else. I mean, it's a poorly made graphic, so it could be the FAA.
Yeah.
That's not the only thing that leads me to think
it's kind of crappy, so it probably is.
Microsoft Paint,
Okay. So Eyeball, who is our good friend, he says, confirmed FPV officially illegal except in flying fields. No.
That's just, we have similar language, right? Remember these FRIAs we're trying to make for recreational flying or institutional flying at colleges and everything else? It's a glorified AMA field, essentially.
No,
let me look into that, Ken. Let me look into that, and let's revisit such a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, Raven says you can't even fly with a spotter. There's going to be so many people aren't going to stop. They're not going to stop.
No, And that becomes a problem then too, Ken. Just like look at prohibition and all these things. You take things away from people, they find ways to do it. And
they're going to be pirates.
They're more dangerous than
they're going to be outlaws. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm sorry, Australia. Oh my God.
I didn't know that. Let me look into that a little bit more, and we can revisit the topic for sure.
Okay, cool. Any other questions there, Kelly, you're seeing going by?
Yeah, I'm going through it here. Rob Agnew, Drone Rob. Away from an airport, should the drone actually land or stay still to yield the right-of-way?
That's a great question. Typically, the best thing is going to be to do is to descend, just drop down. It depends how far away from the airport you actually are.
And what airport it is, because, all of these are not blanket answers. It depends on the airport, where you are, what airspace you're in, how high the plane is. I mean, if you can see a plane, if you can see the rivets in a plane,
you're too close. If you're flying and remember the seagull video you just showed, if that's how you see the airplanes going by you have a problem. You have a problem.
Right.
My general rule of thumb, if I had to give a blanket statement, is I get down to about treetop level. My mindset is, if the plane is that close to the treetops, they have way worse issues than my little drone.
Good advice.
And that's what FPV flyers say, because generally we're not flying above the tallest building too much, or the tallest structure. Didn't Australia have that rule or proposed I forget what it was called. Maybe somebody in chat can say, but something about the tallest thing in your area, because the planes aren't going to be, because there's, we're doing proximity flying and through stuff, and we're not for the most part, FPV guys are like usually inside an abandoned building or something. But anyway, that. And
you would think something like DJI has been very, very hot on their FPV drone, which I think is a great entry level drone to get into FPV. Gosh, you would think they wouldn't be able to afford to miss out on the Australian sales. Right. So is it that outlawed to even purchase a DJI? Could someone in Australia right now go try to purchase the FPV drone and see what it says on the DJI website? That'd be interesting to even know.
Oh, right. Because
you can even purchase it.
It's a hybrid. You can fly it like a regular drone, but then almost fly it like a real. Don't get too close to the ground.
Got time for one more question from the chat?
Of course.
What do you got?
This is from Lexus. Explain the difference in becoming Part 107 for Part 61 pilots and the general public, and if Part 61 pilots are able to sign up for RP 101 recurrent courses.
Yeah, great question. So what they mean by a Part 61 pilot is a manned aviation pilot. So you're already certificated to fly your Cessnas, your Pipers, all that sort of stuff, Cirruses, all the different manned aviation aircraft. Now, you can't just be a Part 61 pilot. You have to be a current Part 61 pilot, which means you have a medical and you've done your flight review within 24 calendar months. So a current Part 61 pilot, to take the definition a little bit further, all current Part 61 pilots need to do is go on the FAA's website. They take a little 30-question quiz that you literally cannot fail. It's similar to the recurrent test, Ken, where you check B, it says, no, Ken, that's wrong, try again. And you check C, and it goes, no, Ken, you got one more shot, bud. You go, oh, it must be A this time. And you put A in there, and you go through it. You literally cannot fail. That's how Ken does his recurrent test now, I heard. And you go through that, and they send you a certificate in the mail. It's literally that easy. So if you are a current, hold a medical, 24 calendar month flight review in a manned aircraft, you do not need to go purchase our course to do that. And speaking of that, Ken, that's actually, and Kelly, thank you for the question.
I wanted to talk about going the other way.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I share this so much. You know what's been one of the best things for our business because we started in manned aviation, some of you know, on our M08 channel. We started there. Oh, thanks for sharing that, Ken. Mm-hmm. We started with M0A.com 14 years ago. M0A is Mach 0 aviation because the airplanes we fly are so slow. We started with that, and adding the unmanned equation to things has actually just increased our business so much because you don't realize it. That test, that Part 107 test you went to take, you are, and Part 61 pilots in the chat back me up, you are a heartbeat away from being a manned pilot. You're quizzed on the same METARs, the same TAFs, the same airspace, the same sectional charts, everything else with that. So if anybody is ever curious or thinks like, man, this has always been a dream of mine to dive into manned aviation and go unmanned to manned, I would encourage you to not only check out our M0A YouTube channel and everything else, I actually have a free book too, and maybe some of my team who's watching this can share it in the chat. I think Magnus in the chat watching this as well, and some others. It's called The Private Pilot Blueprint. You can go to privatepilotblueprint.com, and some of the team will post it in the chat there for you as well. Basically, you pay shipping, which I think is $6 in the U.S., and I'll send you the book for free. It's everything I wish someone would have told me before I started my flight training, saving time, saving money, how to get into it, the first discovery flight, everything else. And as Ken will tell you, because he's been up a few times, it is addicting once you get into full scale.
Yeah, it's a little terrifying. I remember I had
Maybe that's because you were flying.
Yeah, I wasn't flying. I'm a control freak, but just being in a, you know what a Bonanza is, a Bonanza size. It's got the wheels that come up, so it's a faster. It's not like a Piper, so it's a faster across the country kind of plane. And a buddy of mine was taking me to Maryland, and I was all like, a dog on his way to the vet. Ooh, hey, ooh, looking out the windows, But then we got up, and then a little bit of turbulence. I'm like, But and let me ask you this: there were two pilots, okay? My friend and then a co-pilot. The co-pilot wanted to go through these big giant poofy clouds, and I wanted to too. Go through the cloud, man, do it. But the pilot's like, nah, he's going around them. Would you go through them? Do you go through the clouds? I thought that would be just. It was really interesting to be up there in the poofies. Absolutely, you can go through the clouds. You just have to be on what's called an IFR, Instrument Flight Rules flight plan. Essentially, then yes, you can fly through the clouds. But you were probably VFR only at that time, which means you were not allowed or permitted to go into the clouds. The pilot was VFR, but the other guy was instrument rated. Yeah. Okay. So he could have been like, okay, you steer us through the clouds. Well, kind of. If you and I went and took off right now, we could take off VFR and we wouldn't be able to fly through the clouds, even though I have my instrument rating. We would actually have to purposefully file an instrument flight plan as we leave the ground, and that gives us permission to fly through the clouds. But then we have more legalities. You actually fly highways in the sky, whereas VFR, I can kind of just fly wherever I want for the most part. Okay. And just for people who don't know what VFR and Sure, VFR is visual flight rules. IFR is instrument flight rules. So VFR, I'm looking outside, and that's how I navigate. IFR is I'm using my instruments. I'm in the clouds, let's say. I'm just using my instruments to navigate and maintain situational and spatial awareness and everything else. Right. Awesome. Okay. And once again, M0A.com if you want to, if you're interested in crossing over into manned aviation. And I appreciate that. I think when you finally make this trip to Florida, Ken, your first official flight lesson is in order. So make sure you know that and you're ready for it. I'll send you some homework to study. Don't do that to me, man, because I'm gonna love it, and then then I don't have enough money to. You're going to need a lot of super chats. We're going to do a Ken's Flight Training Fund super chat is what's going to really, really happen. Well, the training is not cost prohibitive. It's me wanting a damn plane afterwards. That's the thing. I mean, how many pilots just have their pilot's license and don't own a plane? What's the percentage? A lot, but there's flying clubs. There's a lot of different ways. You can rent from your local airport and everything else, too. You don't have to necessarily get out and own a plane. You can rent. And if you're ever like, on a commercial flight, something happens, you'd be like, is there a pilot that can fly this? You'd be like, hey, that's me. I can do it. If any manned pilots in the chat right now will tell you that's everyone's sick fantasy. Like, both pilot and co-pilot had a double heart attack. Any pilots on board, you're like,
I can do that.
Are they hoping for that? Like
I would be
like,
yeah.
You're at a baseball game and you bring your glove to the baseball game hoping you can catch a ball?
I'm here, put me in, coach. But the funny part is I'd be there in the Airbus, hey everyone, Jason Schappert here flying, making a video the entire time.
Right.
It's all about the YouTube.
So you could legit land it, Jason. 767's about to go down. The pilots have passed out. We need a pilot fast. Jason Schappert steps up. Could you bring her home? Could you land that plane?
That's my dream. You're speaking my dream, Kelly Green.
Oh,
so you can do it.
I hope the pilots are okay. Like
yeah.
Just, temporarily died.
Right.
Just temporarily died.
They're coming back once you get on the ground.
Exactly. Someone revives them.
It's the craziest thing. Big news story across the dual aneurysms. And then they landed and they suddenly woke up. Okay.
That's my dream.
Okay. But now, if there's any more questions, Jason will be here for a couple more minutes. So think of those questions while I share.
And I'll be watching the chat too.
Ken, one more question in the chat. Would you buy an airplane with a rotary engine?
No.
Who would even buy a car with a rotary engine?
Got good point, Jason. Valid point.
Jeez, that's ridiculous.
You sons of bitches. All right. So I have a video that was sent in to me by Stanley. And Stanley has a concern about this video. He says, Ken, this will be a great discussion on your Thursday show. The drone operator here in Gainesville, Georgia, thinks it's okay to fly over a football team taking the field. I reported them, hoping the FAA would just explain the rules that they seem to be not understanding. Stanley, okay? So I'm going to play this, and I actually agree and disagree with Stanley on this. And we'll check this out. Wherever it is. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So here we are. Now, we are flying over non-participators, it looks like.
Yeah.
And maybe you can back me up on this, but if you get with the school or wherever this is, you have to get both with the home team here and say, this is what we're going to do, and then get with the away team and say, this is what we're planning on doing. Then they're participators, but the audience is not. So when he's flying over the audience, he is in violation. Do you agree?
I totally agree with you. The rule reads, flight over non-participants is prohibited. The definition of a participant, let's start with that, is anybody within your control zone, right by visual observer, person manipulating the flight controls, remote pilot command, anybody associated with my operation. I could also then go over to the football team and say, I'll be flying over you guys. It's all good. If something goes wrong, go here, all that sort of stuff. They're participants in this. There's no chance, I guess, unless they made a loudspeaker announcement. Hey, everybody, you're now participants.
Right. You're all my visual observers. Yeah. No, I've done that. I've done that on the bullhorn. All right, everybody, you're my VOs.
Yeah. So it's dicey. And then remember too, our flight over people, the drone has to fit into, one of 4 categories as well. I don't know what kind of drone he was flying here, and this was probably well before that notice of proposed rulemaking even came out. So
right, but there's just so many different flavors of what's okay. Yeah. And people are always looking for, what if it's a Cinewhoop, or what if it's a ducted drone, or what if it has prop guards on it? It's not as easy as just that. There's a whole other thing. But who knows? Maybe next year we'll take the recurrent and then bippity-bop, fly over people. We don't care. Thanks, FAA. We're jumping through all these hoops. It's so fluid. Exactly. It's so fluid. Yeah. But So Kelly, is there any other questions?
What about 20-gram ducted tiny whoops?
Yeah,
that's what that means.
That's what we were just talking about.
Okay.
This isn't so tiny, but it's a ducted.
It's ducted. That's how I'll read. Let me pull up the regulation real quick for you and read it to you exactly what a Category 1. Weighs 0.55 pounds or less, including everything on board or otherwise attached to the aircraft at the time of takeoff. There's that takeoff weight again. And throughout the duration of each operation. I don't know how the drone's going to get heavier throughout operation, but they put that in there just in case somebody figures it out. And contains no exposed rotating parts that would cause laceration. So that's, like you said, the ducted type engine. That's a Category 1. And Category 1 is allowed or is permitted to operate over people.
And that is with your 107.
With a 107, yes, please.
Yes, these are not hobbyists. And just another thing. Don't be terrified of the FAA, because if you do something wrong, they're going to talk to you first. They're going to give you a call, and they're going to be very polite. Hey, did you do this? Oh, well, okay. And then you go like, well, I didn't know. And then they'll be like, okay, well, don't do it again. And then, even if you do it again, then they'll call you again. And, you get a few chances because before and then they'll start sending you mail.
Yeah, you don't want that. When it gets certified, you're in trouble.
Yeah, if you get a written letter from the FAA, then you respond. I think someone in Philadelphia may have learned that the hard way.
I remember that.
Yeah, but they're not after you. And again, the FAA does not have a police force. It's
I literally think it's like 4 or 5 people all working remotely right now, trying to manage 700,000 remote pilots.
Yeah. So, Kelly, did you have anything else? Any other questions?
Lexus in the chat says, Ken, would you sell your Mazda and agree to never buy another Rotary car if I pay for your private pilot flight training?
Wow.
The answer is hell no. Sorry, but thank you for Lexus very much. She just wants me to be safe. She wants me to have a safe car. I appreciate that. And I don't want to get into the car stuff right now. But Jason, we wanted to talk about something else very quickly. And I ordered one today.
Yes.
I ordered a GoPro Hero 10 Black.
I love it.
Now are you excited about this camera as well?
I am excited about it. We're actually running some interesting tests on the 9 Blacks and will on 10 Blacks and everything else as well. Comparing the DJI FPV onboard camera to the GoPros in various settings. We got one of the 3D printed mounts, so we're running both simultaneously. You know what? There's pros and cons to each. Adding the GoPro actually gets rid of seeing the props, which is a big, big complaint about the DJI FPV. No one likes on those hard turns or even just going fast in sport mode where you see the props sometimes. The GoPro at the right angle can remove that, but you'd be surprised. The DJI onboard camera outperforms the GoPro in some cases. It's really interesting.
Come on.
I'll be sharing it in about 2 weeks. I'll send it to you personally, sir.
If you have the GoPro app on your phone or wherever, tablet or whatever, then you got to notice about the 10. And I'll share a little bit of video here. Whoops. This is some video that I got about this. And here's just some of the features. It's the processor's going to be twice as fast, and it'll take the same size battery as the 9, which is good.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be the same size as the 9, although it's going to be 5 grams lighter. I don't know how they're going to do that. It's kind of evil GoPro magic, but so it will fit into your mounts, FPV people. Apparently.
Cool.
I will see that as I'm going to get it hopefully here in the next couple days. It'll shoot in 5.3K at 60 frames a second, 120 frames a second at the next resolution down. Hypersmooth 4.0 works all the way to a 45-degree angle, as you can see here comparatively. It's going to be an exciting camera. And it's about $550 damn dollars, but I'm looking forward to get it. Yeah, it's expensive. That's a thing you're thinking about. If you put that on an FPV quad and you're flying $1,000 around in just camera, not to mention
on a little 3D plastic mounted.
Yeah, I mean,
you
throw that on a 5-inch carbon fiber, and you got something with a comma price in it flying around up there, and doing all that crazy stuff. But
wow,
it's rugged. It's rugged apparently. But anyway, so is there anything else that you want to? What's coming up on your YouTube channel? Are you guys still doing live streams over there at M0A?
We're still doing a ton of live streams and everything else. We got a really exciting kind of content calendar planned out with some, like you mentioned, with a new GoPro coming out, doing a lot of those cinematic kind of comparisons on that. I am continuing to kind of share and showcase my FPV journey. I'm not as good as Ken Heron is just yet, but I aspire to be like him one day when I grow up.
I practice every day.
Do you really?
Every day, even in the rain.
I need to catch up then.
Yeah, I love it so much. But I still love my GPS photography drones as well. And when I get my car fixed, I'm going to be traveling around the country. I don't care if it's winter when I get it back.
Are you going to Florida? Yes.
I was saying, Kelly Green, how long has he been? How long has he been fixing this car and coming to Florida? I mean, I feel like it's been 3 years. He's been promising me this.
Jason, this car fiasco is an absolute disgrace to people who drive vehicles, and I don't know why he's sunk more into the car than he paid for the car, maybe twice as much.
Yeah.
And it's laughable at this point, so we're all just going to laugh along with him to keep from crying.
I'm going to come to Florida as soon as my tailored hazmat suit is ready. We'll come down there to the COVID Wonderland. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to take off in the plane. We're going to fly drones. We're going to blow the COVID all around the place. It's going to be so fun.
Can't wait.
But don't forget about remotepilot101.com. Use Heron 18 to get your 30% off discount. Or is it 40% now? Is it 30?
It's still 30%. And sir, I tell you this every time, and not to flatter you, of all the promo codes we have out there, Heron 18 is the most used promo code. You have an awesome audience. You have the most Part 107 certificated audience, that's for sure.
Excellent.
Who take it. I know we joke around quite a bit, but your viewership really takes this stuff seriously, which is awesome because it's by people playing by the rules and still having a ton of fun that we get more freedoms and everything else. So thank you to the TNL audience as well, just for really always going above and beyond and playing full out in everything you do.
Yeah, I have a new slogan. Let me run this by you, okay?
Sure.
RemotePilot101.com, your anti-dumbass website. Do you like that? Does that flow?
That is trademarkable. That's the word.
Okay, excellent. Well, Jason, thank you for everything that you do for the aviation community in both manned and unmanned. Thank you for being a tanned Florida god with white teeth that shine like stars at night. And thanks for being the smooth talking, good smelling Jason Schappert, everybody. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
All right, we'll see you later. All right, see you, bud. Bye-bye. Woo, man.